Now, speaking of dead weight, Eduardo Escobar, he did pick it up the last 2 days, a little bit microscopically, but overall he has been dreadful. 4 for 32, slashing 133, 161, 267 with a 9 WRC plus so far this season. But all eyes continue to hover to Mets number 2 overall prospect, Brett Baty, who returned to the Syracuse lineup yesterday, who has started the season 6 for 18 with 4 extra base hits.
It's nice to see Eduardo Escobar finally starting to do something productive, so I'll give him that. He did look better. Homered. We complain that nobody hits homers on this team. He homered this week, 2 days ago, so that's good. Got another hit today. So, hey.
Barely.
Slowly but surely, again. Gotta let the vets warm up. Again, it takes a while for these older guys to get hot. Again, we've said it for weeks now. Instead of just doing the same spiel about, hey, Brett had the thumb injury and he's back in the lineup and he drew 2 walks. So, I mean, he'll fit right in today. But, again, with Brett, it's a matter of time. They're going to give Eduardo Escobar kind of the Robinson Cano treatment. They're going to give him a month or 2, month and a half, and let Brett's defense continue to improve because, hey, that's what they value. They did it with Alvarez. Obviously, we're seeing it with Beatty. They want to see an improvement on the defensive side of the ball. So, hey, give them until mid-May. It seems like that'll probably be the earliest, barring an injury to someone. Again, we've said the same thing. We can yell and scream, but at this point, the Mets value that defensive improvement. And until that happens, we'll probably be having Escobar until probably about mid-May. And then, again, we'll see if he gets hot. If not, again, we're 10 games in. They're not going to pull that plug probably until about the 30-game mark. So, again, we got a few more weeks of this, and we'll see if he showed the pulse. So we'll see.
Yeah, I really hope that this whole Brett Baty's defense thing is not actually keeping the Mets from calling him up, because it can't be, because there is no defense for the garbage pitching that we saw on Sunday. When Carrasco they call him Cookie Carrasco, but he's serving up cookies to the other team as you're seeing home run after home run. What the hell is the defense at third base going to do about that when the ball keeps going over the wall? There's no defending that. Defense, schmefense, that doesn't mean anything. The only way you could counteract all the home runs that other teams around baseball are hitting is A, hitting some home runs yourself and answering back, or option B, trade your young pieces that you're not using because they all need to be defensive wizards. Everybody needs to be Ozzie Smith and Brooks Robinson in order to get called up. You might as well trade them since you're in win now mode to get actual quality pitchers. Now all these old men and these minor league guys that can't get the job done. So it's just like when Escobar is struggling this bad and you say it's 9 WRC plus, what could it hurt to call a Beatty? Because don't forget, they called him up last year too. So they started his clock already as well, like they did with Alvarez. So all this, we're waiting. Well, then why did you call him up last year to begin with? You already put yourself in this position. So I know right now Beatty's got the thumb thing going on again. I don't know what's up with him and his fingers, always getting some kind of injuries or whatever. But whenever his fingers are all healed up, he should be back on the big league team, and he should be starting at third base. Again, I said just a little while ago, but these older guys, it only gets worse. And we know that the fans are clamoring for Beatty. We know that Escobar continues to struggle. And like I said, when it comes to New York, when you're slumping, New York is the hardest place to get out of a slump because you're going to get booed. And it happened to Escobar last year. He got booed all year. He did well in September. Then we didn't need Correa anymore. Then he goes back to being bad, and he's going to get booed again. So, I mean, like we say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 8 times, that just makes me a dumbass. So I just don't know what it is that the Mets are waiting for, because you just can't tell me, we need defense. We need defense. Like, Escobar is not Manny Machado. He's not, your boy Matt Chapman. He's an average defender at third base. But his average defense, or slightly below average, whatever you want to call it, does not make up for his far below average hitting that we've seen this year. And again, you need to shake something up. You got to make some changes, because it's clear that just running out the same lineup as last year is not giving you better results. You got to insert some youth. Get something new. Give this team a jolt, a spark, because right now, I mean, like you said, it's a lot of ground outs. It's a lot of walks. I mean, what was their game earlier this week? They had 11 walks or 10 walks or something like that, and barely any runs. Like, I mean, you could only get so many walks and do so much with that. When the other team hits 3-run homers, 2-run homers, and they don't need 11 base runners, they only need 2, and they're able to score more runs than you. So there just has to be a change in their approach and how they're handling it. You don't have to give Escobar till mid-May, June, whatever. I mean, make the move. I mean, who's kidding who at this point? Like Beatty was one of your big time prospects. You could just see that Escobar, again, his at bats, they don't look quality at all. The hit he got today was a ground ball, and like you said, the home run he hit, barely got over the wall. Wow. I mean, doesn't that make up for the other 30 at bats? So I think that a move definitely needs to be made. Once Beatty's healthy, he should be here.
I said it already. Dead weight. Dead weight. What is he doing? He's not doing anything. He's not producing. He's not doing anything. Like, what is there? Is there anything that actually he does that can contribute to a championship level lineup? We know what he's capable of. We talk about this all the time. We know what he's capable of. We know what he is at his best. We've seen it plenty of times. He's 34 years old. He's not going to get better. It's time to pull the plug. It really is time to pull the plug. I understand 10 games in, they're going to give him even more chances. I 100% would say Guillorme's better, but that doesn't say much. Like, it really doesn't say much. Guillorme's not an everyday player either.
But again, he's a guy. Guillorme is another guy who he's better than Escobar, fine, but he's another one base at a time guy. He's a single and a walk. He's just so redundant to what the rest of this lineup already is. He would not change much.
And some would say, and it's possible that eventually he'll become dead weight as well. To be honest, at this point, like, if he's just, if he's just swinging a noodle out there one every 5 days. So, I mean, again, I've talked about it before. It's just, there's just so much lack of versatility. There's just so many pieces on this team that shouldn't be here. They should not be here, and it's not going to change. I can guarantee you that it is not going to change. Eduardo Escobar is not a good hitter. He is not. And even when he was slightly above average. He never was a great hitter. So for whatever he has proven in his career, it is not important over your top prospect in Brett Baty. It should not be the deal. And I'm going to tell you right now, with how obsessed this team has and this ridiculous deep profile fetish that they have for older players, I know damn well that if Eduardo Escobar gets hurt or Luis Guillorme gets hurt, Danny Mendick is the next guy coming up here. I know damn well that's happening because he's on a major league contract and they like him. He puts the ball in play. So they are going to do whatever they can to lock up these prospects as long as they can. And it's just so aggravating. Not to mention, we talk about this all the goddamn time. A $350 million payroll should not have Tim LeCastro in their starting lineup ever, unless they have injuries. And they don't really have many injuries to position players. It's all really just pitching. Rest days are not really that much of an option because you refuse to bring in some of these young guys who could play in place of a lot of the dead weight, because then you're putting the dead weight into the lineup and they're fucking useless. They have to rely on their stars of being such a top-heavy roster that if you take one piece out of there, it's a problem. I need them to have more flexibility, and they don't.